Hi there, it's Emily with DIO, an experiential marketing agency. I am super excited today because I am going to be chatting with Shama Hyder. She is the founder and CEO of Marketing Zen. Marketing Zen is a global agency that cohesively uses social media, SEO, web design, and PR to drive results. Shama is also a web and TV personality, a best-selling author, and is considered the Zen master of marketing. She's an acclaimed international keynote speaker who's shared the speaking stage with the world's top leaders, including President Obama and the Dalai Lama. We are so honored to welcome this visionary strategist in the digital age to our stage. So thanks for joining us.
I think experiential marketing is important, and it's become more important in the last few years, and it'll continue to gain importance in the coming years because I think it's almost what users require now. It's not like this nice add-on. Oh, it's nice to have some experiential maybe display at the trade show, or I feel like now that's the norm is becoming. I want to experience things. I want to interact. The requirement from consumers is that they want something that goes beyond just the back and forth. So I feel like with experiential marketing, it's just the beginning. So I think the great thing about something experiential, or at least if you're doing it right, is that you have a good story to tell, right? And then with social media, it's the ultimate amplifier. So if you have a great story, if it has inherent word of mouth built in, it's something remarkable. Is it something that people want to share? And if it's something people want to share, chances are they'll share it. And where do they go to do that? Social media. And so then it becomes more just a matter of facilitating that and making sure you're making it easy, giving them the right hashtag, giving them the right accounts. You're just, you're facilitating the process. You're allowing something that would happen naturally to happen, and you're giving them the way you want them to do it, rather than trying to coax kind of a false response, if you will. Sure, and so I think it would also be kind of stepping back and looking again at experiential campaign as what are the goals, right? Who's most likely to be entertained by this, affected by this, really what's the audience? And then the digital PR side of it is, again, what's the story? So the social side might be a little more consumer-esque. The digital PR side is also the influencer base. Which influencers would it make sense to reach out and share about this campaign? Whose audience would really benefit from kind of seeing how this campaign goes, for example, or whatever it may be. So it's kind of finding that mix between influencers and what you would consider traditional journalists even. But again, it's all about the story. What is it that makes it different? I mean, the only way I could see it hurting a campaign is if it wasn't a brand match and someone says, well, I can't believe they're spamming me with this. That would be, but really it can't help because it's amplifying that reach. And so it's great when you have those individual consumers you're connecting with, but let's say you have an influencer who shares your audience, and we do this with our clients all the time too, and they have an audience of 500,000 or 1 million or whatever, and if they're sharing your product, then obviously you get the benefit not only of exposure to their audience, but also you're kind of piggybacking off of their credibility and trust that they built with their audience. A couple of things. One, know your goals, know your audience, and making sure that the content that you're creating is a natural fit, whether it's online or offline. I think a lot of times it's like what you're doing online is so dissected from what's offline, it doesn't make sense. So it's really kind of a matter of making sure that it's a natural flow. So if you're doing just something that really showcases the history of a Benz or a Lexus, just for example, let's say you're doing an automotive thing, and the experiential campaign really showcases the history of that vehicle and that company and how far it's come. It would make a lot of sense, for example, to have a corresponding infographic, right, that digitally reflects that. So I think things like that make a difference. I think it's, again, the more integrated things are, and one of the things from the principles I talk about book is called Integration, and it's this idea where you're not really looking at things as offline or online, or in this case even as sort of like this is what we're doing over here, and this is, it's really a matter of how do you integrate all the pieces together to make sure that, you know, you're reaching the most audience and really getting kind of that depth of visibility as well. I mean, it all goes together, right? Because it's about your digital footprint, and that's changed so much now. One of the things I always say when I speak is this idea that, you know, the corner office used to be the corner office. It was the glass windows, and like, you know, people judged you based on that. It was like the assistant outside. It was like these were the markers of success. And now the corner office is what someone finds when they Google you. You know, what is it that they find when they look for you online? What's your digital footprint really say about you? You know, how cohesive is it? How great is your brand messaging? Is it clear that there's a differentiator? Those are like the markers of success. I think they're very integrated, and the thing is, the more integrated they are, the better it is for the client, the better it is for the overall success of the project, right? I feel like right now there's still some distinction because people haven't fully embraced that yet, but I think they're understanding it, and so it's now a matter of execution. How do you get the teams to talk to each other? How do you make sure that everyone's on the same page? And again, that it's not an ego battle or this is a sacred cow or this VP really likes this. It's really about what's going to help the client and what's going to move the needle for them. So a couple of things, right? It's funny, whenever the ROI question comes up, I also think about, I think when people say ROI, often what they mean is what they're maybe even used to is like that linear. They want to point and say, aha, this caused, you know, X caused Y. But it's just not that way in marketing in general anymore. I think the old adage was, you know, marketing works. 50% of my marketing works. I just don't know which 50%. And I think to some degree, it's still true, less so because of analytics, but in the sense that it's not a set 50%. It's different elements of that entire 100% that drive, you know, that drives results. And what I mean by that is it's rare that someone sees one blog post or reads one white paper or watches one video and says, aha, like this is what I want, you know, this is it, like let's do this. It's much more, I think, a process, right? It's someone seeing your brand multiple times. I think experiential goes further because rather than it being sort of a passerby touch point, like an ad might be or something, this is a more immersive experience, of course. And so I think to that degree, it helps deepen that touch point. But again, you have to remember, it's just one more touch point. It's not the touch point, and it's rare. I mean, even if something is a tipping point, like let's say someone finally does interact with your brand in that way, and that's what finally gets them to cross that bridge and say, yes, I want to work with you, or buy the product or whatever, chances are multiple things have happened before, multiple brand interactions have happened before they make that decision. So I think that's something to keep in mind. And then when it comes to actually measuring ROI, I think you look at it, you know, we're big fans here at Marketing Zen. We always say quantitative and qualitative. The quantitative are the numbers, things you can measure. Like, for example, if you do something, even offline or online, how many visitors did you get? How much traffic? How much buzz was there? How many people are sharing, tweeting, you know, hashtags trending? Like, these are all really quantifiable metrics. They're numbers. And then, of course, there's the qualitative, which is, you know, kind of harder to put a number on, but just as important. It's the storytelling aspect, right, of things. These are the stories that really get ingrained. And you want to create that. It's that positive word of mouth. It's that kind of reputation that you're building before you need it. Yeah, so I think two things that I'll just kind of highlight that we've hit on earlier is this 180 of this integration, you know, where I don't think things will be as siloed anymore. I think people will realize to get results, all these pieces have to play together, so that'll be a big one. And then I think the other thing is also going to be a deeper understanding of goal-oriented marketing. So what are our goals rather than let's chase the next shiny thing? Because there's that big, you know, chasing the shiny thing syndrome versus really figuring out who's your target market, who's your audience, and then working steadily towards it. Yeah, so integration, I mean, it's really kind of that, the digital experience, right? The digital and the physical kind of merging. And I'll give you an example of Sephora, which is a beauty brand, and most women, of course, really most people know it, but I think women are probably a little more familiar with the brand. But, they do a great job with that integration element, if you will, because they've got, for example, an app that lets you try on different lipstick colors right from your phone. You're like literally looking at it, seeing what you like, and then you can save those colors. But then you can also walk into a store, look at the saved colors, and actually try them on physically, like at the actual department store itself. So it's one of those things, and I think that's a company that's doing a really good job, kind of merging those two, the physical and the digital. The new book is called Momentum, and it'll be out May 17th. Very excited about it. It's already on Amazon, and it's really about these 5 principles of marketing that you need for the digital age, and it's some of the things we've hit on with integration, how do you measure ROI, but also other principles such as agility through analytics and making those sorts of decisions, content curation and the role that plays in the big scheme of things, and cross-pollination, the idea of how do you kind of innovate, get good ideas. And I feel like these are the principles needed to market better in the digital age. So it's not really even about digital marketing or offline. It's really this idea of we live in a digital age, and so what does marketing look like, and how do you gain momentum? Because I feel like a lot of people in marketing and business owners, CMOs, there's some sense of feeling stalled. There's just so much to do. There's a sense of overwhelm. So how do you make sense of it? How do you work smarter, not necessarily just keep working harder? Although there is, an element of that in marketing in general. So yeah, these are the 5 principles, and I'm really excited about it. The book's gotten some really good early reviews, which is always heartening, and thank you. So it's just a matter of, so it's a matter of kind of listening to the marketplace and giving them what they want. And when I wrote the Zen of social media marketing, I never expected it to to be used as a college textbook for social media, which is what it ended up being used as, which is great. But it's now going into its 4th edition. It'll come out this fall. We just finished the 4th edition, actually. And so that's been really cool to have being able to have a tome like that of being able to put that together, a resource for people. And I've always said it's a great primer of someone starting out for them to get a good sense of social media. And then Momentum was really that next step up, it was a strategic book. It's really more about these kind of broader principles and how these broader principles, when kind of put into effect in the right way or implemented in the right way, can lead to just easier marketing results and feel, you can have that sense of momentum with them. Oh boy, what's one thing I know for sure? The one thing I know for sure is that we all have to be constant students. I think that is the future of professional work. If you are in a professional workplace, and specifically I guess for white-collar jobs, but really for professionals in general, you have to constantly be learning. I just don't think that education ends at end of college. It really is something that you kind of have to embrace because things change too fast not to. You have to be able to keep up if you want to get ahead, especially in our industry in marketing. I mean, the joke around our office is, what changed while I was sleeping? Because the only guarantee is something changed, like some product release, some app, something new happened in the universe. It's just a matter of figuring out what is that thing and how does it make work and then how do we use it for our clients. My pleasure. Thanks for having me.